So we have our next guest, and this one's cool. We got an international guest coming in. So we have Sunny. Where'd he go? There he is.
I'm here.
Hi, Sunny.
Hello. I'm
Hello.
fine. How are you?
I've great. Thank you. Thank you. I think we have a little bit of a delay again, so that's okay.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Thank you. So, you wrote you've actually had a very interesting career. So first of all, can you tell us a little bit about your career that led to your book?
Okay. Like you said, I've had a very interesting career. I first of all pursued a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering at the University of Benin in Nigeria. And then I grabbed a master's degree in project management from the University of Liverpool, United Kingdom, where I specialized in oil, gas, and energy resources. And besides that, I've been a preacher, 30 years a preacher. So,
Wow.
and I'm also a leadership expert. So I have a really rich background in observing leadership, being in leadership, researching about leadership. And my book, Turning Every Leader into a Star, was written. People ask me, why did you write the book? And my answer usually shocks people because I say, I wrote it because I was tired. And they say, Sonny, you were tired? I said, yes, I wrote it because I was tired with a capital T. And they say, what do you mean tired? I said, I was tired of seeing poor leadership on our planet. I was fed up of seeing poor leadership in our planet. That's one of the reasons I wrote the book. I was tired of seeing poor leadership. And I was tired of the way school curriculums were designed. Like I said, when you asked me about my story, I did mechanical engineering first degree. I spent 5 years in one of the best universities in my country. And in 5 years, we never underlined, we never took any course on leadership. And then we became engineers after 5 years, and many of us became supervisors in engineering companies. Now we have to lead. We never learned a thing about leadership. And then I went to the University of Liverpool and I did project management at master's degree level. And we took leadership as a course within just a module. Now, many universities did some research, and many schools all over the world. I talked with teachers in the USA, teachers in developed countries like Nigeria, my country. Students don't get taught leadership in elementary school. They don't get taught leadership in high schools. They don't get taught leadership in the universities. So most people, or most countries rather, all over the world, for you to study leadership at any serious level, you have to pursue a master's degree or a PhD. That is crazy. Why?
It is crazy.
One of the biggest problems in our world is poor leadership. And the biggest and fastest learners in our world are children. So we are not teaching the best learners leadership, and then we whine and complain and grumble about leadership problems in our world. And another reason I was tired of because of our politicians. I was tired of our politicians. I was also tired of those who voted for politicians. Why? Because politicians generally, they campaign rigorously to win election. They go to places they will never go to in their dreams. They shake hands with factory workers. They go to hospitals to see people, and then they win elections. And all of a sudden, now they have to lead. They have no clue how to lead because all of their efforts was put into winning an election. And then we who voted for them, we want them to lead. But these people are not leaders, and they are clueless about leadership, and they don't want to learn what leadership is. So they just stay there and dream of the next win in the next election after their poor tenures. And the biggest problem I have with us who vote is that these people promise 10 things, 20 items that I will deliver A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L. And then they stay in office for 4 years, deliver none of them, come back to us, lie to us again, we vote for them again. So I was tired. So my book.
Man, you're not passionate about this stuff at all, are you?
Yeah, right. No, I love this. You sound like me when I get going. I start preaching. I start going, hey, this is what it is. We got to do something about this. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. So I wrote the book to teach leadership. That is why in the book you will see I have 26 pictures, one picture per chapter. There are 26 chapters in turning every leader into a star. One picture per chapter, colored pictures. And in those pictures, I teach leadership in very simple but yet profound ways. Example, one of my illustrations in the book is the fingers. Every human has 5 fingers on both arms. So try using your thumb to touch all of your other 4 fingers. Let's go, Dan, Catherine, try it. Use your thumb to touch all of your other fingers. Try. How hard is that? Simple, right?
It's easy.
Quite simple. All right. Try using your other 4 fingers to touch all of your other fingers. You will be amazed at how hard and laborious it becomes.
That's what I got. This is what I have going on.
So I tell my readers that leadership is simple. Why? We are surrounded by leadership clues, and this is one of them. When you try to touch all of the fingers with your thumb, you can do it. Other fingers can't do that. Okay, now you want to pick up a gallon of water, 10 gallons of water. Try picking it up with your thumb, you will spend all night. Try picking it up with all of your fingers, it's a breeze. Why? Because the fingers are here to teach us about the power of teamwork in leadership. So there it goes.
That's a great analogy.
Clues, but many people, yes, and many people are not aware of it. So in my book, you see leadership clues. You're surrounded. You watch the whale. You're seeing leadership clues. You watch the lion. You're seeing leadership clues. So these are some of the foundations. And last but not least, I wrote my book because I was tired of my fellow leadership experts. Not all of them, some of them. When they wrote leadership books, they wrote as though everyone had a PhD in leadership. So they used big leadership words that scared the readers. And many people finish reading this book. Instead of thinking of how to lead, they begin to think about definitions in the book. Hard, big definitions because of the big terminologies. So I brought my book from a simple hand. If you've never heard the word leadership before, you read my book, you understand leadership. It's simple, but yet it's profound.
I like that. And that is a great line. Leadership is simple yet profound. It really, really is. So I like that. And I like the finger analogy. I'm going to start using that. that was really good.
You know what really struck me, and Sonny, that I really liked that you said there was, I like a lot of it, but what stood out to me is that there are leadership clues all around us.
Yes.
And that hits me. When people ask me about leadership, and I'm curious on your thoughts on this, Sonny. When people ask me about leadership and my leadership style, oftentimes I go to this mindset of, I had a mentor once tell me years ago this, and I'll give you the shortened version, but he epitomized what it means to be a great leader. I looked at him and I thought, man, this guy is leader quality all day long. And I asked him one time, I said, how did you become such a great leader? And he, long story short, told me that he constantly puts himself in the mindset of a student and being a student of leadership. And so I've carried that thought forward of being this student of leadership. And so a student to me is looking for the clues, right? A student for me is picking up the broken pieces and figuring out how it goes back together. I'm curious in your life or where you're at today and who you're helping with. Do you see that as a leadership quality to be a student of leadership? And where do you apply that into kind of what you do?
Okay. That's a very brilliant one. I think the person you spoke about, your mentor, is really, he has a very good grasp of what leadership is, because leadership is about learning. One of the biggest problems in our world is that many people who find themselves in positions of leadership think that they're there because they know everything. That's why they fail, always. Being in a leadership position does not make you know everything. As a matter of fact, one of the biggest realizations that must hit every leader who will become a star is to realize their weaknesses. Realize what you cannot do.
Yes.
And then realize the power of learning. Learning is a very powerful tool. So every day is a classroom. There's an opportunity to learn as leaders. I will give you an illustration. I gave you a finger illustration from a human being. Now let's go to one of my animal illustrations in turning every leader into a star. The lion is called the king of the jungle. My favorite animal. I could sit for hours and hours and watch lion documentaries. Now, the lion is so feared. But yet, when this animal, recognized by humans and fellow animals as the strongest, when it wants to go for prey, to look for food, it does not go for the strongest animals.
Nope.
It looks at the flock. It picks out the laziest in the bunch. Why? Energy conservation. It understands that the fact that I am strong does not mean that every day of my life I have to look for opportunities to show strength.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
If I can use 1% of my energy to get my food, why expend 50% of my energy to get my food?
Right.
So that is why many people don't do well in leadership. Why don't they do well? They think that leadership is about achieving very big things all the time. The lion says no. Leadership sometimes is knowing about how to achieve a small thing here, another small thing there, another small thing there. And when they aggregate, it becomes a big thing. Yeah. So I agree with your mentor. We
that's so
are in the learning space, and the leaders who learn are the best.
Yes, and also one thing too, and I want to get your opinion on this. This is the one that I preach very hard, and that one of my biggest mentors taught me is that leadership is service. You know, people think that it's about power and it's about being, you know, the big boss and all of that. It's about service, talking to your people, understanding your people. So what are your thoughts on that concept?
I agree. I agree with your mentor 100%. Why do I agree? You see, like I said, I wrote my book because I was tired of poor leadership in our world. One of the reasons why leadership is failing in our world is what you're meant to identify. That people do not realize that being in leadership is not a place to show that I'm powerful, I should be worshipped, I should be adored. Right. Leadership is about service. Why? Because it is about people. For instance, all the leaders in the world, whether they are political leaders, whether they're leaders in corporate organizations, if there was no human being to lead, would they be leaders? Question is no. They will have no one to lead. They are leaders because they are people to lead.
Yes.
So when there are people to lead, then it means it is your responsibility. It's incumbent on you as a leader to serve them. I know many people, like Catherine said, they want to worship, they want to show that they are powerful. But the greatest leaders know that the more you serve people, the greater you become. Go all over the world.
Yes.
Ask people, who is the greatest leader you have ever met? Who is the greatest leader you ever saw? Who is the greatest leader you ever had an acquaintance with? They will point to the people who served people. They won't point to the people who wanted power at all costs. People who served people, who cared about people, who had passion for people. Those are the people that all over the world we still revere today, because they understood that leadership is service.
That's right. Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us today, Sonny. You were wonderful. Everybody, please check out his book. You can find it on Amazon. It's scrolling across the bottom right there, Turning Every Leader into a Star. It's really great. Definitely check it out. Reach out to Sonny, connect on LinkedIn. He's very friendly. He will strike up a conversation with you.
Yeah, I will.
and by the way, just a little quick side note, I've had a lot of Nigerian friends over the years. I love your parties. Best parties in the whole wide world is a Nigerian party. Best party in the world.
We like parties in Nigeria. Oh, we like parties.
Yes, you do. It's very true. Nobody parties like them.
We can plan parties for years, 2 years, 3 years in advance, just planning.
Oh yes, it's true. It's true. They do. And so thank you so very, very much for joining us.
You are welcome.
I will talk to you soon. Have a wonderful day.
No problem. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, America. Bye-bye,
Bye bye, Nigeria.
Bye-bye.
Oh, that was cool. Yeah,
Wow.
that was a
Wow.
great perspective. I loved it.
I know. I love the analogy that he made with the lion.
Yes.
And about and then you don't need to show strength every day.
No.
That's
No.
such a man. There's been so many moments today, and I think that's one of them.
Yeah, that was a really great moment.